Hello, you're with Calling All Stations and it's time for question and answer session number 2. Now if you wanted to see the answers from question and answer session 1, follow the link in the description, or it's up here or somewhere. But do check out some of the responses I had from question and answer video 1. Anyway, time to get straight away into question and answer video number 2. So my first question is, Bachmann Class 411 or the 4CEP, 4CEP. I used to have one of these in BR green, all over green, didn't have the yellow panels at the front, and I had this on my old layout, and I sold that to buy the one in BR blue grey because that's sort of more consistent with the era that I'm modelling. Now I remember the green one on DC running had lights in all of the units in each of the 4 coaches. The one I've bought came with a DCC chip in it, which was great and really easy to just plonk on the layout and get running. However, in this clip that I'm going to show you now, some of the lighting functions aren't doing exactly what I'd expect them to. So I'll explain a little bit more in this clip and then come back. So yeah, this is the Bachmann Class 411. It's a really nice model and it fits quite nicely in with my layout and the era and everything. Basically, the problem I'm having is if I press function 0, it turns on the head code lights, the directional lights, as you'd expect, and it does it at the other end as well. Now I remember that the green Class 411 or the 4CEP that I used to have, it used to have lighting inside the coaches on DC mode, which as far as I can tell, well, it doesn't look like anything's turned on with the function 0, which is slightly different to my Class 416, which is sitting over there, where you turn on function 0 and it turns on both the head code lights and the interior lights. So I thought, okay, well, let's add function 1 and see what that does, and watch what it does. Function 1, it turns on the lights in the centre coach, and it doesn't seem to turn on the lights in the trailer coaches at the ends of the loco, or the power coaches. I'm not sure which ones are powered or which ones are not, but basically it powers up the centre coach. Now this unit actually is a 4-car unit, so if I put the 4th car in the middle as well, it does light up as well, but the trailing units at both ends doesn't seem to have any lights in them when I turn on function 1. If I turn off function 0, the centre coaches are still lit as you'd expect. So just to recap, function 0 is turning on and off the head codes, function 1 is turning on and off the lights in the centre coach, but I seem to remember that the end coaches had lights as well. That doesn't make sense that only one coach or 2 of the centre coaches would have lights. So yeah, that's a bit of an odd one and something I'd like to get to the bottom of. So yeah, basically what I want to know is, before I start opening the loco up and see what chip is actually inside, see if it's a Bachmann one or a Hornby one or whatever, do you have any tips about this model specifically? I have read online that some of the blue-grey models had this sort of quirkiness of the lighting only working in sort of the centre coaches and then being really dim on the end ones. But has anyone come up with sort of adapting the CV values? Has anyone come up with a method to sort of fix this before I sort of open up some of the units and find out what we've actually got in there? Obviously I could just open it up and then not ask the question, but I thought, you know, I'd throw it out there to see if anybody had some ideas about this particular model. Question number 2. In the last video, in the last question and answer session, I talked about wanting to do some simple layout automation. What I wanted to do was really simple, move loco A from one destination to another and then move it back again, and to basically just repeat that. And that was because I really used to enjoy just having the locos running on my continuous layout and then just doing other things in the office. And I wanted to do that again with my end-to-end layout, but because obviously you can't keep them running in a circle, so some kind of computer has to be involved at some point, be that a piece of software or some kind of chip underneath the track doing some sensoring, but I wanted to try and find the simplest way of doing that. And if you watch my answer video, I find out that it's really not as simple as I thought it was, and do watch my response to find out how I experimented with doing that. My next question, having learnt that I couldn't just use a simple piece of software to just go back and forth without some kind of feedback from the layout saying yes, the loco is in this position. What sort of sensors and things do you use? And I was also talking about this with a friend on Twitter who wants to design a piece of software for doing this, and we were sort of chewing the fat on what will be the simplest way to do things. I like simple methods. I don't like things to be complicated, and the simpler the better. I mean, just look at the DCC signals that I've got. The chip is inbuilt in the signal from Train Tech. I really like that kind of simplistic idea. So if there are similar things out there that are really simple to operate and install, let me know. I mean, what kind of sort of sensor systems do you use? Basically, I want to avoid having to have track blocks at this stage because they sort of involve isolating sections of the layout. I'd have to do quite a lot of rewiring basically to make that work, and I don't want to do that at this stage. Haven't ruled it out for the future, but at this stage I don't want to do that. Are there some good simple sensors that you can install on a DCC system that will just basically say, yes, the train is here, move it to another place where there's another sensor, it will say yes, the train is here, and that may feed back into iTrain or some other piece of software. If you use something like that on a DCC system, let me know how it works, and I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not trying to do block detection and sort of relay feedback and all that kind of stuff. I would prefer it to be some kind of sensor, and I do know some things exist, but I'm just asking if you've got any recommendations basically. And finally, question number 3, which is kind of links in from question number 2, is I use the Roco Z21, and I've just done a little tutorial video on how to set that up with iTrain, and I got a really good feedback straight away saying that you really like the video. Does it work with E-Link? And I don't think it does. I don't think iTrain does work with E-Link. I might be wrong and there might be a way around it, but as far as I'm aware, E-Link doesn't work with iTrain. It just works with more of the sort of European style base stations, of which the Roco Z21 is. Basically, I wanted to find out, is anybody using the Roco Z21? I sort of found out about it through YouTube and through some different channels. It's sort of a real alternative on the DCC scene. I don't think many people in the UK are using it. It's more sort of a thing that's sold in Germany and in Europe. So things that are designed to work with the Z21 often aren't designed to work with some of the British systems like the Hornby E-Link. Is anybody out there using the Z21? Would you find it useful if I did sort of a walkthrough of the Z21, how to set it up and what some of the features are? I mean, I think it's a brilliant system, and I don't think I'd change it at this stage. And it was really cheap actually. It was only about 120 quid, and then you add some apps to that, which is sort of, I think, 6 or 7 quid for the iPhone app. It sort of, I think, does as much as some of the Gauge Master, sort of the £200 pieces of kit, and some of the Bachmann ones that are really expensive. But that, that's my opinion, and I haven't actually used some of those systems, so they may be really good. So the question number 3 is sort of 2 parts. Does anyone out there use the Z21? Would you like me to do some kind of explainer for it? And also, if you don't use the Z21, what do you use? It seems like a lot of people are using Hornby E-Link. What do you guys think of that? How does it differ, if you know how it differs? Those of you on Gauge Master, let me know. I mean, just I wanted to know sort of some of the selling points of some of the other controllers, basically, and to sort of see what other DCC users are using to control their layouts and what flexibility it gives them. I think the Z21 is really flexible, but you might be able to tell me different about your controller. So do let me know in the comment section below or on the website www.callingworkstations.co.uk. Do get in touch. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, a retweet on Twitter. Guys, I will see you soon.